In today's video, I'm going to be recapping my pregnancy journey of trimester 3. So let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. I am Randy DeCalloway, a holistic nutritionist and integrative health practitioner, plus personal trainer. I help women perfect their periods and hormones so that they can have optimal future fertility. So, when it comes to my own pregnancy journey, it's been a lot of fun just to see the development of my body and how maybe nutrition has changed, which honestly has not changed much. So, it's been just really interesting to go through this phase of life since I am an expert in the pre-conception phase and basically working on rebalancing hormones so that eventually we can get pregnant. As for now that I am pregnant, I must say the one thing I do miss, I miss having my period and going through those cycles, which might be weird to hear. But when I'm a person that teaches on that every single day, it's kind of weird not to be going through that and going through this journey for myself is teaching me more and more and more to embody the flow, the feminine energy, which is exactly what I teach my clients so that they can be in harmony with their hormones again. So, that all being said, let's get into trimester 3. Trimester 3 for me has been actually a really good time. So, trimester 2, in the beginning, I was still a little tired, slowly getting back to feeling a bit myself and getting into my workouts. But trimester 3 has honestly been amazing. There are a few things I'm going to mention that have been a struggle. But that being said, they're not a huge struggle to what some women have to deal with. And I'm not undermining other women's pregnancy journeys and how hard pregnancy can be for some of those people. But in general, my opinion is that pregnancy is hard because it's something, no matter what your journey looks like, it's different for everyone. And it's a whole new world that you're experiencing. So it's just hard for people in different ways. And yes, some people have complications, some people don't. But even though for the people that don't have complications, it does not mean that their soreness or what they might be complaining about isn't valid. So, at the same time, I want to say that whatever you are experiencing on your pregnancy journey or in your life in general is valid. You're allowed to feel those things. And you're also allowed to be aware that other people have it harder. Other people do have it harder. Some people are struggling more with work or other things going on in life, but that doesn't mean that your experience is invalid, even though you're just complaining about the backache. You are still allowed to complain about that. So that's just what I want to say, because a lot of times there's judgment. Oh, well, I dealt with this, and it was so much worse of an experience. It was so much harder, and absolutely probably was. But that person, for their normal, this isn't normal. So for them, it's really hard to work through this and can give them a lot of mental blocks. Their mood can change, all those things. So I'm going to be touching on all of those things. And that's just where I find I'm sharing my experience from my perspective. And I know I've had a very easy, boring pregnancy in general compared to most people, and that most people have been messaging me and looking up to me and being like, wow, I want to experience pregnancy the way you are. But keep in mind, I'm doing these videos to show you also some of the things that I've really struggled with on the back end that I don't necessarily show every day on social media. I do my best to kind of explain, oh, yesterday was a low day. So, I maybe didn't get out for my walk that I wanted to or whatnot. So, that all being said, let's get into the nitty gritty. So, I hit my third trimester December 6th of 2021. So this is coming into Christmas time, and it was a very happy month, basically, except for, if you know me well, I'm usually going skiing over the Christmas holidays. I usually go skiing. I love winter. I enjoy the winter festivities. And just with how this year has been, a few other things. And of course, because I am pregnant, I decided not to go skiing. So I was home on Christmas Day, and my husband worked Christmas Day, but we celebrated Christmas Eve, which was totally fine. It was a great day. The weekend of like Christmas was wonderful. I had an amazing time. My mood was good. La da 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 da. So even though my mood was good over that weekend, the week kind of before Christmas and then after, I would say it was kind of this time period of like 2, 3-ish weeks, I really hit a low mood. Like I was not motivated to do anything. It was just so weird. It was extremely weird, probably because also like darker days, a few different things going on. I wasn't socializing as much because it was, winter and all those things. So I saw a lot of friends in November. I was socializing a lot. And then all of a sudden, December, I did not do much outside of the house. So I think that also brought on the low mood because as women, we need that social connection. Yeah. So the weekend of Christmas, when we were seeing a bit of family and all this, like it was good, but my husband was also working a lot. So I just hit a really low mood. Who knows? Maybe the hormones were just like higher, but I'm just being honest. Like it was a hard 2 weeks during Christmas. It was kind of like a little bit of a dark time, I would say. But other than that, like everything was good. I worked out consistently still. The reason I was extremely consistent with my workouts still in trimester 3 is because I had rib cage pain in the back. So I had no lower back pain, not really any hip pain, but the rib cage in my back was just so sore. So every time by like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, it's like I used to lie down, but then it got to the point that lying down wasn't comfortable anymore. So actually working out and moving the body was the only thing that relieved this achy back and like pain. Like it was achy. It's not like pain. It's like just soreness and it's constantly there and it's just annoying. So working out was the only way to relieve that. So I worked out almost every single day. And that's how I completely stayed consistent with my workouts because it just made me feel so great and amazing. I had no problem working out, no problem having energy for workouts. I kept up with that. So that was pretty much the same as I was mentioning how I was feeling mid trimester 2 when I started picking up my workouts. Well, trimester 3, I was even way more consistent with my workouts and I've honestly started to feel stronger. Like it's been amazing. Was doing chin-ups, all that stuff. Very active, going to the dog park a lot, all those things just to keep my body moving so that a rib cage didn't annoy the crap out of me because it was just so annoying. I got to the point, I would say somewhere near the end of January, where I was just fed up. Like my back was just I got it on both sides then. The rib cage was so sore. And then the baby was starting to kick my ribs in the front. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with this pregnancy. I had like a weekend where I was just like, I'm done. Like I'm fed up. Like didn't want to do anything because like I was just like fed up with how I felt and how sore I was. Because as an athlete, whenever I would get sore or muscles were off, I would go to the chiropractor or would go see someone, and with a treatment, it was relieved and I could do physio or whatever to continue the healing process of those muscles. But the thing with this is I would go to the chiropractor, be relieved for a day, or go to the osteo, be relieved for 2, 3 days, and then be back. Like it just didn't go away. And it's always been there and it's still here now that I'm literally on my due date recording this, it's still here. So the thing is, it just doesn't go away. So this is something completely new in my life because whenever a muscle hurts, I deal with the root cause and I get it fixed basically because I've learned to not like let that fester into something bigger because I used to get migraines as a little kid because of neck problems, muscle tension, all this stuff. So pregnancy has really pushed me into this other category of understanding how to just manage a pain until the baby arrives so that my center of gravity can go back to normal and hopefully not pull on my rib cage. I'm looking forward to the rib cage being completely gone. Now, that being said, I just mentioned the weekend in January that I was like, I am so done. It was really funny because I swear my body just knew and the baby just knew, like, oh, she's reached her limits in this department of soreness. So then actually the baby dropped. And because the baby dropped, it relieved the pressure from my rib cage. Now, what did that end up causing is that at night sleeping, then I felt the rib cage more. So I would use sometimes like a back cream, just so that I could sleep. But yeah, so since then, since that last weekend in January, I've sleeping hasn't been always the best, I would say. Like I'm still getting good quality sleep, but when I wake up in the morning by like 6, 7, I have to get out of bed. I have to move my body because I'm like, I can't lay here anymore, which was very different from before because laying would relieve it. And now I was at the point where laying down doesn't relieve it. Getting up and moving relieves it. And I'm more comfortable just being upright or sitting or something in the morning. So that was kind of a change. But honestly, I really enjoyed this change because I was sick of the 3 p.m. every day being like, okay, stop work, stop this, and go chill. I mean, it made sure I was consistent with my workouts. So I gotta say, like, that was a very good thing, but I just felt like I was not getting as much work done because I'd have to like go do something because my back was just so sore. So, anyways, that's my personal experience. It was just really annoying. And I know that it's so minor in the gist of things, right? Like when you're looking at the whole picture, it's like, yeah, that's so minor, so minor. So, I think that's about it. The only other thing I was really struggling with during this phase of pregnancy, and since I got sick in October in trimester 2, is the congestions and just never gone away. So like after eating something or whatever, I find my ears get kind of ploggy and then I sound a little more stuffy. I just have so much like extra congestion that I can't seem to like get rid of. And it's not because I'm sick or I'm inflamed or whatever. It's just something I'm dealing with, I think, with pregnancy. And it's just maybe that last remnants of like the cold that needs to, balance out. But I can't really take extra herbs to help with congestion right now, just with where I am in my pregnancy. And I just don't feel comfortable taking those herbs. So I'm going to hopefully it clears up once I've given birth. But then once I'm breastfeeding, there's just more things I can implement into my life that could maybe be helpful. As of right now, if you struggle with a lot of congestion during pregnancy, the one thing like I have been doing a few times is doing a neti pot, which clears out your sinuses. So that basically sums up all the physical stuff I've been dealing with. Now that I've basically hit week 40, I will say this belly, I'm like trying to hold it like when I'm trying to sleep, and I try to sometimes support it somehow a little bit underneath. Like it's just weird because it keeps growing. It's like you've got this weighted balloon that you're trying to make sure it's not pulling too much on your back or certain parts because it just feels uncomfortable. I don't really know how to explain it. And one last thing I want to mention is that January, like, with the lower mood and stuff, I was getting better and everything. But I must say, like, February was a way better month for me. Like, I just felt really good. It was my birthday month, but my body just felt way more comfortable during the day compared to like January where I was getting so sore, right? So February has been a great month. So actually the last month of my pregnancy been amazing. I will say at week 39, I had one night and one day, I think, where, yeah, it wasn't the best just because, all of a sudden I was experiencing cramping or like my hip was really sore. So I had like 2 days like that, but in the grand scheme of things, that was like nothing for me. Like I wasn't worried about that. So February has been a great month. But I will say now that I'm week 40, it's like, okay, this baby, like there's just certain things I'm trying to do to make it comfortable, especially while sleeping. So I would say sleeping's the one thing that's gone the least uncomfortable for the last bit of pregnancy. So now let's talk about nutrition, my favorite topic of all time, of course. So honestly, not much has changed except for the fact that you want to eat more calories. Like your calorie requirement in the third trimester goes up about 300, 400, depending what you need on your body. And I don't really want to put it in a category because it depends on the person and how much you're exercising and everything too. So the big thing was that the calorie consumption increases, plus like you need a bit more protein. So what I did was I actually tracked my nutrition, like my calories, like my macronutrients, so carbs, fat, and protein, into my phone on MyFitnessPal for about a week, on and off, not every single day, but like I just wanted to see where I was at. So I was very interested to see what I needed at this point in my pregnancy, that I was not eating enough. So I was like, man, I need to up the protein and carbohydrates as well. Fat was not an issue. So knowing that, I started to integrate a second smoothie. Now and then, if I was feeling it, I would have oatmeal on the side with my smoothie in the morning, just to make sure I'm getting enough of those calories in. And because I was feeling like congested in the mornings, I also just was doing a shake and not a full smoothie for a little bit. So I did oatmeal instead. Now, love my smoothie. I really prefer it. I feel it actually nourishes me in a better way. But for this time, it seemed my body was just doing a bit better with oatmeal. So I did that for probably 1 to 2 weeks. And then I've gone back to smoothies and my body's been loving it. So now for the month of February, I have been doing my best, especially now near the very end, just because I know I need my nutrition, especially once baby's here. Like I need nutrition. So I've been doing a second smoothie now in the afternoons, which has been super helpful. I've definitely noticed an improvement in my mood because there was one dinner where I got hangry, and I haven't been like that in a while. I was really grumpy. So I was like, oh, yeah, we got to make sure we're getting enough calories. So that's kind of the nice thing of sometimes tracking, like, where are you with your macronutrients? I don't track all the time, but I have found it extremely helpful to see, like, oh shit, I'm not eating enough, so I need to eat more. Because honestly, that's sometimes what I see mostly with my clients is they're not eating enough. Like I'm like, you need to eat more with how physical you are, with how much you're accomplishing every day. You need to eat more. We need enough calories to also keep our mood stable. So that being said, basically an extra smoothie in the afternoon. And I've been loving fruit. Like I've gone through phases of fruit. So there was like, I wanted kiwis. So I would have like 2 kiwis a day. And then I went through a phase of wanting pears. And then I went through a phase of now February, I would say I've been eating a lot of bananas, like 3 bananas a day sometimes. That's okay. Like obviously my body's wanting the fruit for like the minerals or whatever. So listening to my body in that perspective. The one thing that it has been nice is I'm not completely turned off with desserts. So when I did have like some friends over or I was going somewhere, it's like I could enjoy desserts, especially like with my birthday and our wedding anniversary in January. We got to have some donuts and other dessert things, which was very nice that my body was okay having it. Just, sometimes fun to have like something different than always eating super, super clean. But second trimester, my body was just like, nope, we're eating like ridiculously healthy. And that's just how it felt. And it wasn't like I was restricting my body, right? If I wanted to have a cheat meal once a week, I would still do that. There's nothing wrong with that, or flex meal. So I'm just giving you kind of the overview of like what I'm feeling. Now, I know a lot of people have been like, wow, I'm surprised you don't crave like chips or other random things that are maybe unhealthy. You also have to keep in mind of my health history. So before I was pregnant, I did a lot of healing around my digestive system. But before I even healed my digestive system, my body knows what it feels like to be in pain, like so much pain, digestion wise, from eating crap. I say crap, but it wasn't always crap, like just from eating bread or having dairy, like cow's dairy or other things. So because my body knows how it feels like to be in that situation of a lot of pain, like I don't think those cravings just don't come because my body's like, we're not going to want to go through that anyways. Like I feel like that's a factor too, because my body has had a history of like being in pain in bed and being uncomfortable, with my digestive system. So I'm happy I haven't had any of that. And I think I've had heartburn once or twice this whole pregnancy, which is shocking because I've had heartburn in the past. So that's in my health history. Like, yeah, I'm shocked with how good I've been feeling in general. But I think a lot has to do with all the prep I've done and just my years of working on my digestion and my health, right? It also depends on your story. Like I wouldn't do well with fast food. I don't feel well. Like it drains me. It just makes me feel ill, right? So my body's not going to want to go through that because it's painful. You see what I mean? Because like the body doesn't want to be in pain. So we'll avoid that. Now, that being said, the one thing I wasn't consuming a lot of or at all in trimester one and before I got pregnant, I eliminated was chocolate. And I will say chocolate's come back into my diet. So I've been eating chocolate. And now and then I do crave a decaf coffee. So I'll have a lovely Swiss watered decaf coffee when I am in the mood for those. So I will make those at home. But the reason I don't want to like overdo it on coffee is because I find it dehydrates me and you really want to stay hydrated during pregnancy. So that's just the one thing you have to be careful with coffee and depending on like your body type and how you react to caffeine. Because for me, it dehydrates me very easily. So I just have to be careful about it. And that sums up my pregnancy journey, other than the birth. And we'll see when this baby arrives, since today is my due date. I was actually planning to record this video a week ago, and it just never happened. But I'm happy I'm recording it now because you're getting like the last week bit of information, which, yeah, I had 2 days where it was like, am I going to go into labor or what's going on? And then just like, especially at this stage now at the 40-week mark, like the last 2-3 nights, I've really noticed like, okay, I'm trying to like lift this belly and like hold it. And yeah, the weight is a lot more. So, but anyways, that is my pregnancy journey. As you can see, there's been ups, there's been downs in general. Okay, I've had a very good pregnancy. I will say, to sum it up, trimester one was rough. It was rough. Like, wow, no one ever prepared me for trimester one. I am happy how I handled it in the sense of that I was making sure I was staying hydrated, that I was doing juicing. Like now I barely do juicing. Like I do it when I need it. Like there were afternoons sometimes I'm like, I'm craving a juice, probably just for the nutrients and hydration. But other than that, like first trimester, if I didn't juice every single day almost, I don't know what my energy levels would have been like because they were already rough, and weaning off of certain supplements and herbs that I really supported my body before pregnancy weren't an option during pregnancy. So yeah, there were other things I had to do. I would say trimester one is the hardest. And then part of trimester two, right? Because you're still going through this shift. I find it doesn't just happen overnight. That trimester two is like, oh, it's so much better. But yeah, trimester two was amazing. And for me, I was very fortunate that trimester three was amazing as well. So even though I've had like my moments, I've had the low moods where I would say I was feeling like a little bit depressed. Now, I'm not putting depression on the like labeling it because depression could look really rough for some people. And I'm not undermining what depression looks like for other people. But for me, that is kind of almost what I was leaning towards. I was leaning towards feeling low mood, depression a little bit. So at least exercise is huge. When I was feeling like that, I must say my evenings, I felt amazing because exercise gets those endorphins going. The thing is like exercising in the morning would have helped, right, with my mood throughout the day then, but I just didn't have the like strength energy, if that makes any sense, to exercise in the morning. It just wasn't fitting. So I did what I could. And I think that's at the end of the day, the best thing you can do as a pregnant mama.